man in the Classic City. He's got plenty of talent to work with. Jake Fromm returns at quarterback, one of the best in the nation last year, and he's got protection up front with an All-American at tackle, Andrew Thomas. Speed on the outside and a playmaker in DeAndre Swift, but it's not all offense for this Georgia team. Returners on the defensive side include veteran J.R. Reed. It's a Georgia team and a program with great expectations. They fell just short last year after a remarkable start. 6-0 to start the season. They were thinking national title, but upended in a disastrous loss to LSU. They would rebound to win their next 5, make it back to Atlanta, but then a loss in the championship game to Alabama and a loss to Texas to close the season. With that, we set the stage for the spring game. Tom Hart, Matt Stinchcomb, and Greg McElroy. Change doesn't come around here very often, but Mel Tucker, the former defensive coordinator, off to Colorado as a head coach. Jim Chaney back at Tennessee, so 2 new coordinators for Kirby Smart.
And as you mentioned, only in year 4. We've seen other programs endure this level of transition at the coordinator level, and what Georgia elected to do was to promote from within. James Coley, who managed the offense, actually coordinated their 3rd down strategy a season ago, will now take over the full-blown operations offensively. And then Dan Lanning, who is a guy that was a position coach a season ago, but was able to collaborate a great deal with the defensive strategy, something that he appreciated from Kirby Smart, something that is fostered here at Georgia. They allow input from a variety of different places, so you have 2 guys from the staff that are now promoted to the coordinator spot.
So plenty to look for in this spring game today, including playmakers. Greg McElroy, who you got your eye on?
I'm going to be watching this guy very closely, Matt Landers. Now, this receiving core, somewhat depleted. They lost 4 of their top 5 pass catchers from a year ago, but Matt Landers is a guy whose name has come up time and time again from Kirby Smart and some of the players throughout the course of this spring. They describe him as Randy Moss. He just doesn't know it yet. Looking forward to see what the sophomore has for us today in the spring game.
Cash money, Holmes. And for more on this game, let's find out what Kirby Smart is thinking. He's standing by with our very own Maria Taylor.
All right, Coach, the team is slowly making their way out onto the field. The fans braved the weather to be here today, and your team wears the Do More shirts. What do you want to see more of in the spring game here today?
I want to see energy and enthusiasm. This is our last chance to kind of set a standard on this spring practice. I'm excited for the fans that came out. We're going to give them a good show. All
right, now everyone wants to know about playmakers, and we're talking about wide receivers because there's some new faces and names that have to produce this season. What are the expectations you have for that position group?
I want to make some plays today. We're going to put it in the air, see if Matt Landers, JJ, and those guys can go get it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
It's a great tradition here in Athens, a tradition that dates back to the 1941 team that was led by Frank Sinkwich. And expectations that include adjustments to get this team to its first national title since 1980. Ready to go after a rainy and chilly morning. The sun trying to break through here in the Classic City. And a pump fake to start. Ball came off the tee, so we will re-tee it.
Able to get a nice shot of those shoes. Look at that.
Yeah, Brooks Buse showing off the fashion.
It's an aggressive choice.
Shoe game to match Greg McElroy. Kearis Jackson will bring it back for Georgia for the red team. And they'll whistle him down. Stopped by the very versatile Walter Grant. We'll talk about him a lot today. But first, we start with the red team offense. This is the first string offense led by Jake Fromm as he enters his junior season at the helm. Fromm, 6'2", 220, completed 67% of his passes last year. To me, it's not about the numbers, it's about his leadership.
His intangibles are off the charts, and there's probably still room to grow. That's what's so remarkable. He had such a great year throwing it last year, especially on 3rd down. Very accurate with the football. Not the biggest arm in the world, but has taken a liking to what they're doing offensively under new coordinator James Coley.
DeAndre Swift gets a touch to start and bounces it to the outside. Good blocking on the edge from Tyler Simmons. What does it mean to be a national championship quarterback? How can this Georgia team led by Fromm turn the corner?
They're so close. I mean, you look last year, having Alabama on the ropes in each of the last 2 years, and Fromm, big reason why. So steady at the position, doesn't make costly mistakes with the football. So many games at this level are lost. They're just given away. He will not give away the football. Very, very smart, and a big reason why Georgia is one of the premier programs because of his leadership.
Fired in, and Tyson Campbell with the pass breakup. You'll hear the word havoc a ton when talking about this Georgia defense. We'll get into that a little bit later, but a big key is making plays on the defensive side of the ball. And now the first string offense, the red team facing 3rd and 3.
You see Dan Lanning, the new defensive coordinator. We touched on him off the top. And the havoc rate, he already mentioned, it's not necessarily that they're going to bring pressure. It's pass breakups, playing the ball tightly, just like what Tyson Campbell was able to do to break up the previous attempt.
4-man rush. From looking for the slant, and that one is taken away by Eric Stokes. And what a start, a pick 6. And the black team jumps out in front.
And the DC is jacked. We asked Kirby Smart yesterday, are you going to have some weirdo scoring system where if the defense sets up a 2nd and long, do they get points? He said, no, we're not doing that. And Dan Lanning, we said, look, man, they want to score points tomorrow. I guess you're going to have to lay down. He was like, I didn't get the memo. And clearly, neither did Stokes.
There was no foul on the play.
We talk about havoc.
It is a touchdown.
So what's havoc? It's tackles for loss. It's pass breakups. It's takeaways. You've seen it already early in this game. We talked about Jake Fromm. He's going to protect this football, fight for the ball right here. Stokes just wanted it more. He's up stealing that sucker and take it to the house. That's the way the defense scores in this game.
38-yard return. The point after is good by Brooks Buse. Savage pads are out already. I didn't know that was in play for a spring game.
Well, it is technically a game. I guess anything that ends in game. Yeah.
That's when it's good.
Yep.
As far as that havoc rate, that was a great play by Stokes. I mean, just stealing it away from Holloman on the in-breaking route. Like Matt talked about, this is so big for Georgia, and it can be done at all 3 levels. You can find a difference maker in the secondary to replace DeAndre Baker. I think they're going to be good back there. They have a lot of experience. So PBUs, pass breakups, and interceptions are likely to be on the higher side, I think, compared to where they were a year ago.
It's a team last year that only had 24 sacks. You see where they rank within the conference in those statistical categories. And relative to some of the teams that they studied in the offseason, including Clemson and Michigan. But those defenses also had dudes on the defensive side of the ball. Here is Jackson again. On a soggy afternoon, is able to get to the outside, and Jake Fromm will be right back out there for this red offense. We've got a full slate of officials too. We've got a second group led by our crew here at ESPN. Todd Blackledge, Dusty Dvorak, Sean McDonough is the back judge, Molly McGrath, and Marty Smith. And we promise to never rip on officials. We will break that promise today.
I just want to see, when we see like a reenactment of the last time we had celeb officials here, where McElroy and Brock Heward were locked in a mortal battle. Who could throw the most flags? The furthest.
Fromm has a tip coming out of his hands. If Marty can learn to spot the ball, we'll be in great shape. But I think so far he's 0 for 1.
Yeah, 0 for 1. He's not in the right decision, not in the right spot right here. Steve Shaw's having to spot the ball. I mean, this is a disaster.
It is. So much spoon feeding.
And Marty's running back, getting out of the way. It is a good experience, though, man. I did it a couple years ago, and yeah, you make a couple mistakes. I'd be real hesitant to throw the flag if I could do it all over again, but it was fun to kind of see it from their perspective.
Ryan Harrion is in at running back. He'll get a touch on the draw. The confusion for our officiating crew started before the ball was even put on the tee. This group had a hard time pregame lining up for the photo op. And if you can't get the photo op right, it's going to be a little bit tough to get things going when the bullets start flying.
This is very official.
There you go. I don't know which way we're facing.
Like a bad Snickers commercial.
I don't know what to do with my head.
Little Talladega Nights in there.
By the way, Steve Shaw back in the stripes. He looks good.
He's a celebrity. He belongs out there now.
3rd and 1. Black team got a pick six first possession. Brian Harrion is able to move the chains. So we'll look at running backs today for Georgia. Obviously, DeAndre Swift had a fantastic year last year. He's the Swiss Army knife, but then Harrion and more talent coming in once summer gets underway.
Yeah, it's deep, to say the least, at running back. Now, there's a lot of nicks from a roster standpoint right now. But you think of a guy like a Brian Harrion, who has kind of been more of a role player, stuck behind some elite talent in the backfield, and he has shown some of his skill set throughout this spring because of the attrition with some of the injuries throughout the spring practice.
On play action, Fromm has it batted away. Eric Stokes had a pick the first time.
Telling you, man, that we talked already, and we're going to probably beat this point down because that's what Kirby Smart wants to do to his team, about the havoc rate. So far, we've seen a ball tipped to the line of scrimmage. We've seen an interception taken back to the house. We saw a PBU on the second play of the game, another PBU right there. I mean, there's been 5 or 6 offensive snaps, and 4 have been havoc plays. So pretty remarkable how they've made it a point of emphasis, not the start you want if you're the red offense.
Jake Fromm has started this game 0 for 4. 14 early enrollees for this Georgia team, and a handful of them participating in the spring game.
You know, lending it back to this havoc rate. If you think about last year, young secondary, DeAndre Baker, some young guys, Richard LeCount, sophomore guys just now working his way in at safety. You got a true freshman in Tyson Campbell in the other corner. Now you've got an early enrollee and a guy like Nolan Smith, highly touted recruit, came up a lot in our conversations with the coaches, a guy that can bend the edge, but it was his work ethic that stood out the most. That's promising.
Fromm has the completion. Karis Jackson is able to take it into black territory for the first down.
And as far as Nolan Smith, if this were a real Saturday, we'd be watching Nolan Smith against Andrew Thomas every single snap. Because on third down and long, obvious passing situations, that's where Nolan Smith, at this point in his career, that's where he can make a difference immediately. You have to identify a pass rusher up front. He might be that guy.
He's 6'3", 235. Is that body type in play right now to create havoc from the edge?
Absolutely, on third downs especially. You see DeAndre Swift, his ability to explode out of cuts is unparalleled at the college football level. His ability to come in traffic and then explode. He almost bounced the run after he crossed the line of scrimmage. You see Nolan Smith on the sideline, but a guy that's out there that can fix these numbers. You want to pressure the quarterback. You want to affect that passer. Georgia just has not been good at that really since Kirby Smart has been here, and that man is seeking to change that, and Dan Lanning, partly with the veteran backfield, they might be able to do that better.
Fromm completes another one. This is Tyler Simmons. Dan Lanning is not short in the vocal category or the energy column.
No, he can check both of those boxes. You know, we asked him, the players yesterday, J.R. Reed, what's the biggest difference? He didn't talk scheme. He just said energy level.
Yeah.
Coach Lanning's fired up.
I mean, we talked to him for 10 minutes. I wanted to run through a wall. I mean,
I wanted you to run through a wall.
I would not have fared well. But he was. I mean, he is fiery. And, of course, it's going to be, like you alluded to, Stinch, it's going to be a collective effort. And he'll call it on game day, but he's going to be able to lean on Glenn Schumann, who is also a big part of what they're doing defensively. Of course, Kirby Smart, with the defensive background, be huge on game day, making sure that Dan Lanning's comfortable going throughout the season. So this defense, expect them to increase the pressure, to blitz a little more, and to make life difficult on opposing quarterbacks. That's kind of the changes and adjustments I'm anticipating from seeing them throughout the course of spring and probably throughout the course of summer.
It might be tough to see in the spring game. Both sides, as you would expect, would be fairly vanilla, although sometimes those rules are broken, especially when you see the second string offense on the field. Fromm putting it together here on this drive, and he finds Harrion, who's able to pick up another first down. Tyson Campbell with the stop, and Justin Young brought pressure.
I love this part of Fromm's game. I mean, just being patient, understanding where you're at. You're in the red zone. You got to have that internal clock going off, because a sack right there potentially takes you out of field goal range. Move in the pocket, find your out. Best ball carrier on the field is the running back. Get it in his hands with a little space, and good things happen.
Molly McGrath getting ready to call a touchdown. She's standing at the pylon.
Okay.
11th play of the drive.
She said, okay, she's ready, Tom. You teed it up for her.
She was working on her touchdown signal all day yesterday. Harriet turning into a bulldozer. Senior from Douglasville. Majority of his yards have come in the fourth quarter in his career.
And see, now Molly missed her opportunity. She was hoping for a nice run there from Harry, and he gets clogged up. Now she's got to move to the back pylon, which will be a challenge, of course, if there's a play at the, right there at the goal line. It's the mechanics of it, though, right, Greg? I mean, there's a lot more to it than just, hey, line up right here, look down the line of scrimmage, or line up on the pylon.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on for these officials than you realize. That I've been a lot less critical of officials since I went through this procedure.
From back in zone, Molly McGrath. What do you got? Incomplete. There you go. Jeremiah Holloman, the intended receiver.
Good throw, good effort, and a good call by Molly.
Very decisive, too. She
Very
didn't
decisive.
hesitate.
Nope.
She knew almost immediately. And this is a play that you've seen a lot. Jeremiah Holloman, a guy that can high point the ball. Great job by Stokes, getting his hands between those of the receivers and breaking up that pass. And, of course, Molly all over the call.
17 yards per catch last season for Holloman. Fromm has completed 3 out of 4 since his 0 for 4 start that included a pick. On third down. Jermaine Johnson got into the backfield. And they'll bring on Rodrigo Blankenship, maybe the most popular Georgia Bulldog in the last 3 years, to attempt the field goal.
Maybe some miscommunication clearly on that one, but it sets up Rodrigo with an opportunity. You got to respect the specs.
Molly racing in position under the upright.
Now she can signal if we make this kick here. Check the technique. Excellent.
I haven't been this excited since watching Australian rules football back in the late 80s. I was hoping she'd break out the guns. 3:26 to go in the first quarter. Black on top of red early.
Man, I wish we had some.
And rich, delicious Dr. Pepper.
Cool robot.
Thanks, but actually he's a cooler from the future.
Wow.
Wait, don't touch. He's very cold. Dr. Pepper, so nice to treat you.
Oh, sir, that was my grandma's. Ugh.
Don't worry, ma'am. All of your stuff is in okay hands.
Just okay?
Well, they don't give 2.5 stars to just anybody.
Here you go.
What's this?
It's your piano.
Hold this for a sec.
We don't have a piano.
But the neighbors do.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5G Evolution, the first step to 5G. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Let's be honest. Safe drivers shouldn't have to pay as much for insurance.
And not safe drivers!
That's why Esurance has Drive Sense. The safer you drive, the more you save. Although I'm not really driving right now. That would be unsafe.
When insurance is affordable, it's surprisingly painless.
Don't give in now. This is your final push. Let's go, Peloton. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome job today, guys.
A killer workout right at home. Just one part of the best cardio machine on the planet, Peloton.
You check in frequently to see how the markets are doing. But what you really need to know is how you're doing. Where do you go for that? Right here, personalcapital.com. Join for free. You'll get a dashboard that shows you all your accounts in one place. Income, spending, investments, even your net worth, all in real time. You'll get all these free retirement and investing tools, including a retirement planner that takes the guesswork out of retirement, plus wealth management options. Join at personalcapital.com.
Looking for vacation rentals? Search Home to Go Florida from $49. Home to Go Texas from $45. Home to Go New York from $59. Home to Go, the world's largest vacation rental search engine.
Home to Go. If you're going to be on the Golden State Warriors level,
If Harden hits shots,
Houston can beat Golden State. If you're as good a team as they're supposed to be, just gonna try me, second choice.
if Boston plays focused,
You're putting so much dependency on this guy.
If the Greek freak is on the floor,
If they want to move forward, this team wants to advance past the second round.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday. Raptors Sixers Game 3 on ESPN. Let's go.
I'm Dari Noka, and you're watching the SEC Network. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage.
7-3, Black in front of the red, Georgia spring game, and with it, some great players of the past hanging out. Down with Maria Taylor, Sony Michel, and Nick Chubb.
Beyond great players from the past, led Georgia to SEC championships, playing in the national championship game, and now you guys are pros. So what has the first season been like in the NFL for each of you? And we all know you won a Super Bowl, so you can just start there. So
it was amazing. It was just a learning experience, new environment. I had to adapt to a lot of things, but you know, to top it off with a Super Bowl, there's no better amazing feeling.
What changed for you, and how were you able to turn it on during the postseason? I think you had like 336 yards during that Super Bowl run.
Man, you know, it was just the focus of the team, I would say. Everybody was kind of on the same page, and we wanted just to achieve the same goal.
Meanwhile, Nick, you're on like one of the most talked about offseason teams ever, the Cleveland Browns. What's it been like to be in the middle of all the conversation around the NFL?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of hype behind the Browns, and we got a lot of new additions to the team, and everyone's excited about it. I'm excited too, just to get back there and see what we got, you know, see if we can go win.
How much time have you spent around the new guys, and even spending time with Mayfield and OBJ?
I've been up there for about 3 weeks now, hanging out, getting adjusted, making some new changes, and just hanging out with the guys, and it's been good.
Let's talk about the feeling that you have now, just coming back into Sanford Stadium and being a part of a moment like this. I mean, you guys had some really high highs. What are the moments you'll never forget from being a Bulldog?
It's always great to come back. We were talking about it earlier, man. It's nothing like NFL, just the atmosphere in the stadium. It's always great to come back here. It's a different feeling. It's very unique to us.
I mean, it's no better feeling than coming between the hedges. It's like home. You know, all the great fans in college football is here, and you can kind of still feel that energy.
Yeah, and I can still feel that you guys are best friends because you don't do anything without each other. Every time I see one, I see thing two. Back up to the booth, guys.
All right, thanks, Brad. You know what I love about that whole interview is when you say, this is home. Because that's what it's about for former players, to be welcomed back and to feel like you're coming back home.
Yeah,
kind of like walking through the gates with Matt Stinchcomb today.
Right. Sure. It's exactly like walking with Sony and Nick. So many of my jerseys. These guys, the fact, though, that they come back, because let's be real, the weather ain't great out here today. There's a ton of fans that showed up. But when former players stay plugged into their respective programs, I think it speaks to a number of things. One is their experience as student athletes at that respective school. The other is, I think, the investment that they felt that they've made and the mutual admiration, I think, from the program standpoint and from the players' standpoint. The fact that the most prolific rushing duo in college football history is on the sidelines means something, and it's more than just the fact that they were great football players.
Here's Jackson from a couple of yards deep. Touchdown lead for Black after that 42-yard field goal from Brooks Buse.
Somebody threw a flag.
McDonough dropped it out of his pocket again.
Okay. Wave that off.
Hey, you know why?
Why'd you drop it?
Because I got your microphone and my IFB pulling on my MC Hammer pants. Stuff's falling out everywhere, including my gut.
Please, Hammer, don't hurt him. Well, that's what happens when you spend a fall on the road with Tom Blackledge.
I got a contract. I'm supposed to count on every play. Hey, 9, back it up a little bit. He needs to back up. I got 89. Okay. We got 11.
We can be successful if none of our officials get hurt today. From on the play action to the slant, and that's batted away. Maria's standing by with the head man.
They're just going to let him drape him, Coach. You want to get on the official?
Hey, look at this. We got one from the back judge. Who is that back there?
That's Molly.
Oh, wow. Is that her spot to see that? How about that? About to find out.
Oh, number 3.
Number 3
It's
black.
tall, I think. She knows what she's
Yes.
doing. I hope that field judge didn't have to tell her. We might have to review the review. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She got it.
Pass
interference. Number 3 on the defense.
Okay, what were you
that
looking for?
penalty will be enforced at the spot of the foul.
Action. A lot of people think it's an RPO, but it's actually not. It's just hard play action. A lot of guys suck up on it.
No, right there.
We run the ball well out of that formation, so you always want to have a good play action that you can run from your best running formation. So that's what it was.
I got to take you back to the first drive, and we saw Eric Stokes get that INT. What happened on?
Hey, you met with Eric Stokes yesterday. It must have been the magic you put with him. I thought he did a good job fighting the receiver for the ball. So he did a good job. Yeah. So we got free release protection here. We should get a quick pass, 5-man protection. Ball's going to come out quick. See what we get here. Swift for the ball. Let's go for the wing. Get the guy in space. Good job there. Positive play. Positive play. Trying to get the ball out quick today. Let the guys make plays in space. A little windy.
Yeah, it is. And that's DeAndre Swift, who you always want to give the ball in space, and he's been able to make a couple plays already.
He has. He's made some people miss. He makes tacklers look bad at times, so he does a good job. All that havoc these defenses create, sometimes it's good just to have a quick pass to throw out. Let's see what we got here. Not sure what we got. Defensively, we got our 3-4 front here, so we got an opportunity to do something.
Okay, you tell me no. Tell me when you know the play.
Well, I know the play on defense. I hope we don't get run over here. Uh-oh. Inside out. Get the ball to the playmaker. Make him miss, Swift. Make him miss, Swift. Get extra. We got 3rd down now.
So what are you looking for during the 3rd down right now in the spring game?
Well, it's 3rd and what here? About 5 or 6. I think last year we were really productive in the 5 to 7 range, but 8 to 11 we weren't as good, and that's been a big focus for the whole spring. So I'm excited about this down. I get a chance to see what they do. We'll see what we get here. I'm not sure what we got. Let's back up. Yeah. Oh, I got you. We got steeps here. We got outside deep comebacks coming back down the stem. Looks like we're going to get some protection here. Possibly 7-man protection. I'm not sure. We'll see if the pressure comes after him here. Looks like defense is coming after him. Let's see if Fromm's as good as he is with pressure on him. Good pickups. Good catch. You get the first. I think he got it with the extra effort. Good decision by Fromm there. Got a slot guy with leverage on him, makes a 1st down, big conversion.
That's the perfect execution of the play that you had called.
Absolutely. Defense there had a good play call, but they picked it up. Good job with the protection.
Okay, how about this? Walk me through what defense is looking for right now.
Oh, this should be good here. We're going to get a shot play by the offense. The defense is going to play a 7-man front. So we should have a pretty good matchup right here. J.R. Reed's going to come down. He's going to try to disguise it. And I think Fromm's going to take a shot outside to one of these wideouts. This could be Tyler Simmons' time, boys. It is. Over route. Oh! Great play there by the star. Undercut the over route right there.
Okay, what do we think about the throw?
It looked like it was a little bit behind him there. I don't know if we stair-stepped it and got the guy open or not. It's really good coverage by the slot. Great play fake. Got the backers up. Oh, the receiver may have been climbing too much and allowed the undercut there. But a lot of times we want to be able to stem that. And then we're going to play split safety coverage on defense. Okay, so we got a drive route, steeps outside. Should be great. Should be a great matchup here on this call. Defense playing pass, offense passing the ball. 2nd and 10. We're getting a pass rush. Oh, good route by Tyler Simmons. That's a great route by Tyler. He's doubled over there. He pushed off the corner, made a good play.
You just mentioned it was Tyler Simmons' time. What has he shown you so far in the spring?
Got a lot of speed. He's one of the guys who struggled to press and get our hands on. Really elite when it comes to quickness at the line of scrimmage. A lot of different ways to get him the ball. So, excited to see the offense goes. Okay. Good. So we got 12 personnel now. We got 2 tight ends in. Charlie Warner, who we're really excited about. I know. Down. Okay, good. The defense will play man-to-man here. Fromm knows it, too. One-on-one's outside. Oh, a little outside. He might have been a little deep on the route there, too. 2nd 10. We need this red offense to score to tie this thing up. Remember, I like tight ball games.
I know you do, and I feel like you call it on purpose so that we have tight G-Day games every single year.
We try to make it that way. We want some tension in the end, not only for the fans, but I like to see how the players react to all this. Okay. You know what I mean? So you can handle it. I'm excited to see the quarterback get in next drive. Should be DeJuan Mathis up, too. So. Oh, this is going to be good. So we got to see a Fromm. He's got a run-pass option here. You can see the box. Should be a throw if we got a 5-6-man box. Oh, run and draw. Split them. This might be 6. Then call it home. Oh, big play there. Good decision. God, defensive end ran upfield. So I think one of those officials might have missed a hold right there. Let's see if we can see it on the replay.
Okay. Are you going to go over and get the official if they missed it?
See this replay. Look at 87 on the corner. Okay. Right there. No. And when you hold your hands up, you're usually guilty.
But he pulled it back fast. He pulled it back fast.
Okay, good.
What we got?
All right, we're going to get a little Dover route right here out of the offense. Defense is going to play man-to-man down in the red area, expect and run. This should be exciting here. Get a one-on-one ball outside, maybe. Oh. Work to Dover. Oh, he couldn't get through the rats. He worked his progression all the way across. That's a play that Jake really likes, where he works across the board, takes option 1, 2, 3. He gets all the way to the 4th option a lot of times and does a good job of that. Defense had good coverage there. It's a good replay of it right here. You're not cold, are you?
No, I'm not cold at all, Coach. I'm in the middle of a football game. I'm ready. Although I will take that jacket if you don't mind at the end of the year. I wouldn't mind having that just in the closet for the future. Okay, what do we have here?
Offense has got a very traditional route right here. Dallas route, double stick outs. Defense is going to play red quarters. Should be interesting to see if he works the quarter side. Oh, we got the nod route on Charlie. He's throwing it away there. Thought he had Charlie there.
So what did he miss?
Well, he didn't miss it. It was covered that side. He went back late. I think he was just throwing it away there, living for another down. Sometimes the best play a quarterback makes is not throwing the ball, just throwing it away.
Well, that's what you expected, but Fromm at this point.
He's done it a lot. He's done it a lot. So we got 3rd and 10.
Okay,
defense is going to bring a little pressure. What do you think for that? I'm predicting a sack right here. What do you think?
No, it's not going to be a sack. We're going touchdown. I'm calling it for the red team because you want to see it.
No, I want to see good competition. We're about to get some interesting stuff here. Okay. Tyson Campbell may get picked.
Okay.
We're going to get some great rush in these 2 days rushes. Free release. Hold it back. One-on-one. Barrel rig.
This one.
Tackle. Touchdown. Got him.
Who called it, Coach?
You did. Hey, you've been learning from the best up there, right?
I've been learning from you, the best is down here. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Well, there you guys have it, an entire progression with Kirby Smart.
I want Maria picking my lotto numbers.
Yeah, that's right. She was all over.
We're going to have to call her Maria Romo after that. I mean, predicting plays. I like it. Well done.
13-yard catch and run for Brian Harrion. That was really fun to hear Kirby Smart just talk football on that drive. Rodrigo bangs it through, and we've got a tie game. 10 apiece. It was a 10-play, 70-yard drive engineered by Jake Fromm. Facing pressure, he finds Brian Harrion, and the senior takes it the rest of the way. 6.5 before the half. We're all tied up.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call the experts at creditrepair.com for your free credit evaluation and game plan to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
At creditrepair.com, dreams do happen.
Thanks to creditrepair.com, I will be able to have a better credit score and get that house.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation and game plan to help get back on the track to great credit.
Call 800-969-5670.
going to be on the Golden State Warriors level.
If Harden hits shots, Houston can beat Golden State. If you're as good a team as they're supposed to be, just gonna try me second of choice. If Boston plays focused,
You're putting so much dependency on this guy.
if the Greek freak is on the floor,
If they want to move forward.
This team wants to advance past the second round.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday. Raptors Sixers Game 3 on ESPN. SEC baseball at its best with a classic showdown in College Station. 7th ranked Mississippi State, 17th ranked Texas A&M. Thursday at 7 on the SEC Network.
For those who peer into rock pools and gaze up at starry skies and seek out places with strange names and curious histories and quietly ponder the vastness before them, asking why, where, and how. This is Curiosity Stream, where you can stream incredible documentaries from the world's best filmmakers, on demand and on any device anywhere in the world. Exclusive programs updated weekly that explore the big questions in science, technology, history, and nature that reward your curiosity and feed your brilliant, inquisitive mind. Monthly subscriptions start at just $2.99 a month. Long live the curious. Start your free trial today at curiositystream.com.
It's the Georgia Spring Game on the SEC Network. The Georgia team aiming for a national title, and a thrilling start to this one, tied at 10 apiece. Tom Hart, Matt Stinchcomb, Greg McElroy, Maria Taylor's on the sidelines, and a host of celebrity officials are wired today and learning from the TV side how to call a game down on the field. Jake Fromm got off to a slow start, threw a pick six on his first series, and has bounced back and settled into his routine. So 6:34 to go before halftime. Rodrigo Blankenship puts it in the air, and we'll have a chance for a return. James Cook. Welcome back. Tom Hart, Matt Stinchcomb, and Greg McElroy. If you're just joining us on the TV side, already a lot of action so far in this one.
Not only on the field from the players, but from the celebrity officials as well. I think there's 2 flags from McDonough, 2 from Molly McGrath, and a partridge in a pear tree. There's a couple of passes that we've seen broken up.
Holding a number 42.
And we don't know who threw the flag on this one, but Steve Shaw with the announcement. Sean McDonough putting his hanky back, so he's been very active as a back judge. Here are our guest officials, including Todd Blackledge, Dusty Dvorak, the aforementioned McDonough, Molly McGrath has thrown a flag, and Marty Smith has managed not to get run over thus far.
Holding.
And we've got a new quarterback in the game. One of the things you can learn in a spring game, Greg, is who is ahead of who when it comes to the second string quarterback, because we know Jake Fromm will be there as a starter.
Yeah, for the first time, Jake Fromm's not looking over his shoulder. That's for sure, because when you look at these backup quarterbacks, there's a pretty wide gap between the junior and what DeJuan Mathis is doing right now. And Stetson Bennett got off to a pretty nice start as well, but we're seeing DeJuan Mathis now for the first time. Freshman from Michigan, very raw, but a lot of ability, strong arm, pretty accurate, and can move around when necessary. So he's a guy with a really high ceiling. He's having a little bit of a tough time learning and understanding the metrics of what is a pro-style offense, and that'll take some time for any freshman.
It's a bit of a quarterback carousel before signing day between Georgia and Ohio State. Mathis was originally headed to Columbus, but ends up coming to Athens, and he's in competition with Stetson Bennett for the second string quarterback position.
And it might not be just those two. They might go and find a guy, who knows, here in the next couple weeks in the grad transfer market, potentially. A lot of movement with quarterbacks happen after the spring. Joe Burrow, probably the most notable from a year ago, who transferred from Ohio State to LSU in May. So a lot of movement that can still happen at that position, but each one of these 2 backup quarterback potential candidates trying to put their best foot forward here to end the spring.
Number 2 offense, number 2 defense right now, and another completion. Trey Blunt with the catch, and that'll be good for a first down for the black team. It's also a second-string offensive line that Dewan Mathis is playing behind right now.
Yeah, you got big Cade Mays in there at right guard. That's one of the more contentious spots. A lot of competition there, a lot of stars. It's like its own little solar system. You've got 3 guys that are all 5-star recruits. You've got Jamarie Salyer, Cade Mays, who played a lot last year. They're all fighting for time there at that right guard spot, along with Big Ben Cleveland.
James Cook on the reception. Let's get you caught up to date on how the scoring has gone down so far in this soggy spring game. It started off on the wrong foot for Jake Fromm. A takeaway and a pick 6 for Eric Stokes, who's been very active in the secondary. And then Maria Taylor called it. A touchdown pass against the blitz to Brian Harrion from 13 yards. And Fromm, after starting 0 for 4, is now 8 for 18. KJ McCoy has opened some eyes. Guys getting a glimpse of what this guy can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often you go to Athens, Georgia, and you're talking to a bunch of players, and like, all right, who's someone that we should talk about that we're not really aware of at this point? They say KJ McCoy, a walk-on running back. Wait, hands on. 5-star running backs. And you're going to tell us about a walk-on? But they say he's been really productive. A guy that made the team and has flashed some potential. Wouldn't be shocked to see him find a role. Maybe not within the offense, but at some point in the fall, he'll be on the field.
Mathis lets it go deep into coverage, and off the hands of Matt Landers, a very promising wide receiver, gets up holding his back.
Landers is that guy that they're just waiting. They're waiting for him to put it all together. I mean, you can see the length. He's 6'5". He should have made that play for him. And he's got a freshman quarterback back there, vertical route. You're a big guy, big target. You get both hands on it. You have to be able to come down with it. That's 2 drops now for Landers on potential deep balls. But you can see his ability to separate. Just got to finish when that ball is contested.
Ball got loose. Mathis recovers, and they'll whistle him down in the backfield. What's the biggest challenge for a young quarterback, an early enrollee, when they come to a program like Georgia?
Understanding the terminology. That was really a big step for me when I finally got comfortable calling it, and it became like a language. I mean, you're learning a language. And it's not quite as difficult today with the way they call offense as it was, say, 15 years ago. But understanding the terminology and what every single person's responsibility is on each individual play was a real challenge. Throwing, catching, not really all that difficult. Not all that difficult or different from high school, but just the thought process and the amount of information you have to consider every time you drop back is amplified significantly.
First punt of the game for either team. This is sophomore Bill Rubright to punt it away. DeAndre Swift stands at his 10. .242 to go in the first half. Georgia G-Day game. All tied up at 10 apiece between the black and the red.
Is this ride safe?
Assembled it myself last night. I think I did an okay job.
Just okay?
What if something bad happens?
We just moved in the next town.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5G Evolution, the first step to 5G. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Hey, look. They got one of those purple mattresses. I've heard about these. It's supposed to sleep cool, and it's specially designed to cradle your pressure points. Huh? Freeze!
SEC baseball at its best with a classic showdown in College Station.
There is a new SEC hit king, Jake Mangum.
Aggie pitchers will defend their turf.
Called strike 3 on the outside corner.
7th-ranked Mississippi State, 17th-ranked Texas A&M. Thursday at 7 on the SEC Network.
If you're going to be on the Golden State Warriors level,
If Harden hits shots,
Houston can beat Golden State. If you're as good a team as they're supposed to be, just in a try, be second of choice.
if Boston plays focused,
You're putting so much dependency on this guy.
If the Greek freak is on the floor,
if they want to move forward,
This team wants to advance past the second round.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday. Raptors-Sixers Game 3 on ESPN.
Is this ride safe?
Assembled it myself last night. I think I did an okay job.
Just okay?
What if something bad happens?
We just moved in the next town.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5G Evolution, the first step to 5G. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? At Touch of Modern, watches don't just tell time, they change the way you spend it. Bags are thoughtfully designed to never slow you down, and gear won't get in the way. And coffee tables are also refrigerators, keeping you at the center of the party. All it takes is a touch. touchofmodern.com.
On Easter weekend here in Athens, Georgia, a new day has dawned in regard to the coordinators. Kirby Smart with a couple of changes. Mel Tucker, former defensive coordinator, now the head coach at the University of Colorado. Dan Lanning takes over defensive play calling duties. And as we pointed out earlier in this broadcast, as a defensive staff, it was a group effort, as it is for most staffs. Nice move on the outside by DeAndre Swift. In fact, Dan Lanning would often put together the third down packages for a given game week. So what do we know about Dan Lanning, and what can we expect?
Well, he's an aggressive guy, a guy that has learned under Kirby Smart. You see his time spent at Alabama as a grad assistant, made a jump, went to Memphis, came to Georgia as an outside linebacker coach, had a lot of talent to work with, to say the least. To DeAndre Walker, a guy who's no longer available here in his services. The fact that I think he's an outside linebacker coach from a position standpoint, I think that lends itself to being more aggressive. You'll see sometimes defensive back coaches, especially when they have a young secondary, they'll play it far more conservatively. Now he has the luxury of a more veteran secondary, albeit without DeAndre Baker, to be more aggressive.
Yeah, and they've studied some of those defenses across the country that really pride themselves on making life difficult for opposing quarterbacks. They've studied Clemson. They've studied Miami. They have done everything they possibly can to learn from Michigan. Now, they haven't gone to any of those places, but they've studied those defenses, because those defenses in the last few years have been very successful. I was really impressed with Dan Lanning yesterday. I didn't know him. I didn't know who he was. And frankly, when he got the job, I was surprised, because I'm sitting here thinking, man, defensive coordinator at Georgia, that's big time. I mean, that's a big time job. And then you start to read a little more about him. Okay, great recruiter, makes sense, 33 years old, he's going to be able to relate to the players, makes a lot of sense, I get it. But then when I sat down with him yesterday, and his attention to detail, the way he involves himself in getting his team ready to play, and just the way he carried himself yesterday, I think he's a future head coach. I really believe that. Now, it might be way down the line, but I think this young man has a very bright future in the profession, and I think he's going to become a star here in the next couple years.
Attention to detail is one thing this coaching staff and the players we talked to really focused on, and a new focus from head coach Kirby Smart, whether it's lining up properly or keeping the locker room clean. And perhaps a reason the season didn't end as they wished it would have, with the loss to Alabama, then the loss to Texas. Eric Stokes in on another tackle. Greg, you kind of felt a comp between when you were playing at Alabama, when you end with a letdown of a bowl game, with, in many ways, a letdown destination that can fuel you for the next season.
Yeah, last year's team for Georgia reminded me of the Alabama team in 2008, where you have a great season. Maybe not everyone's expecting you to have that type of season, especially knowing the departures you had from the year before. Sure enough, they get to the SEC championship game, they blow a lead, and they come out flat against Texas. But man, it seems like there's a sense of urgency within the locker room. And there's a sense of accountability too because of the leadership that makes it feel as though this could be that year where Georgia breaks through. Because think about what happened after that 08 game for Alabama when they lost to Utah. What happened in 09? Alabama wins the national championship. So I'm telling you, I think Georgia has the right mindset, Stinch, heading into this season. The schedule sets up nicely for them.
And there are some issues from a leadership perspective, we're told, within this team, so much so that the guys have come to the coaches and said, you know, our leadership council, it's too big. Let's shrink it down to the people who not only want to be leaders, but have the ability to lead positively. So with that, you get the sense that there is addition by subtraction in some ways with this team.
Well, I think that whenever you have turnover, there's opportunity for guys that were probably trying to stay in their lane. You've got a guy that's in front of them. You've got a more veteran presence that's already on the team. So it might be harder for you to assert yourself. But as Greg just alluded to, and you experienced that, you were there on those teams, the idea that you can bounce back from a disappointing finish, that can set itself up. That sets the stage for the following season.
Right.
You know, none of this team wasn't pleased with how it turned out. It clearly didn't put in the work it was required to win that game versus Texas. And none of them were pleased with having lost the game, regardless of whether or not it was the desired destination. So you use that and fuel it throughout the offseason. You could tell just in our short conversations with the players, coaches too, that really is fuel, potentially anyway, for that following season to have a really exemplary season.
And you give a talented team, and there's no denying that Georgia is a really talented team. Young in spots, but extremely talented. You give a talented team a chip on their shoulder, that's a dangerous recipe for the opposition.
Beautiful punt carries into the end zone following the sack from Justin Young. Sean McDonough is one of our officials today. Let's go all access with the back judge.
I put my stuff in your bag. I got so much stuff. I'm afraid I'm going to throw the microphone. I tell you what, when you're trying to run and you got these balloon pants, like I'm almost tripping myself. Pass interference. Did a really bad job. Which guy did it? Because I was so worried about.
He didn't get a number.
I think it was number 8.
Number 8?
8 or 29. Kind of whiffed on it. Definitely pass interference. Can you tell the back judges are the best shape? I mean, of all the without Grandis here, you wouldn't believe Grandis is almost my age, man. This guy's ripped. That was a pretty good quarter. I like that. This guy's a great teacher.
And he's got a willing student. By the way, change at quarterback for the black team again. Stetson Bennett is back in. And Bennett lets it go through traffic and completes it on a dime to Matt Landers. And both of them flash on that play.
Great throw.
They more than flashed, they glimpsed.
I think a glimpse into what the future might look like for Matt Landers. I mean, climbing and creating that type of separation. How about the throw?
Arm strength there, huh?
By Stetson Bennett, having move and maneuver in the pocket to find a lane and delivering a dime.
Heidi-ho Neighborino.
Climbs in the pocket and then makes a completion to Ned's cousin on the outside.
52 yards on the strike. From the mailman to Matt Landers. Bennett was at Jones County Community College last year. 16 touchdowns, 14 picks. Was all set to head to Louisiana Lafayette. Opportunity arose, and he returned to Athens at a Pierce County high school, and Bennett dumps it off to James Cook.
You know, and amongst some of these throws, you think back like to Jake Fromm's drive, a lot of those he's thrown the backs out of the backfield, hit Tyler Simmons on a couple, but you can see it's clear. Offensive coordinator James Coley, he talked about this. They want to see Matt Landers. Matt Landers has been targeted quite a few times. You mentioned, Greg, 2 drops on downfield throws, 1 in the red zone. But a guy that they want to see out here today. They want to see him perform and put together a consistent effort.
Yeah, he's getting challenged. There's no doubt. And this was a nice job, too. Kind of finding the seam between 2 defenders and getting on top to create the big play in a 2-minute situation. I mean, look, he's 1 for 3 right now with opportunities. He's probably going to have 8 or 9 opportunities in this game, I would think. You want that number on contested catches to hover somewhere around 50%, naturally, 50-50 ball. But with a guy of his size and stature, should be 70-30, really should. So he'll keep getting opportunities as the game goes along.
Bennett aiming for the end zone. Bennett stands 5'11", and he was asked about his height getting in the way. We got a flag on the play, and he said, listen, everybody's got to find windows to throw the ball. Mine just happened to be a little bit smaller.
Waving it off.
There's no foul on the play. 4th down.
Went to the bullpen for the white hat, huh?
See Landers working outside, and I guess they said they're just fighting for this thing. Landers ends up batting it down.
That's an okay no call. That doesn't bother me. In a perfect world, I'd love to see Landers stop on the dime, track that football a little earlier,
high point it, right?
And high point it. You'd love that. And as Stetson can bring that throw down a touch too, and kind of body up the receiver.
Buse misses it wide right.
Well, you wonder why Stetson Bennett is kind of a folk hero around here, and it's throws like the one that he hit on Landers downfield.
So Buse is hit from 42 and missed from 29. Stetson Bennett showing off his big arm, and a defensive score to start everything off. Little bit of everything here in Athens today. And at the break, we are tied at 10. A chance for the officials to go have an orange slice and a Capri Sun. We might do the same here in the booth.
In the South, there's a zest for life that's unrivaled. From family gatherings to football games, we enjoy good food, great fun, and warm hospitality. And we always do it with style. For generations, Belk has been a Southern staple, helping families celebrate life. In fact, we've been around about as long as college football. Belk, celebrating 130 years of modern Southern style.
Man, I wish we had some.
Dr. Pepper! And rich, delicious Dr. Pepper.
Cool robot.
Thanks, but actually he's a cooler from the future.
Wow.
Wait, don't touch. He's very cold. Dr. Pepper, so nice to treat you.
Let's be honest. It's kind of unfair that safe drivers have to pay as much for insurance as...
Not safe drivers!
That was a stunt driver. That's why Esurance has this DriveSense app. The safer you drive, the more you save. Don't worry, I'm not using my phone and talking to a camera while driving. I'm being towed.
By the way, I'm actually a safe driver. I'm just pretending to be a not safe driver.
Cool.
Bye, Dennis Quaid.
When insurance is affordable, it's surprisingly painless.
Sports fans are gearing up at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Check out those numbers on your screen, Peloton. Max output. This is gonna feel intense, but it will be worth it at that finish line.
Metrics that challenge you to challenge yourself.
Let's go right now.
Just one part of the best cardio machine on the planet, Peloton.
Finding the right vacation rental can take hours. Luckily, there's Home to Go. With Home to Go, you can search hundreds of websites and millions of offers. Fast. Whew. Home to Go. It's the world's largest vacation rental search engine.
Home to go.
You work hard to build a better life and a better world. Now you can do both by ditching your big bank and switching to the Aspiration Spend and Save account. You'll get cash back on every dollar you spend and extra rewards for shopping at businesses with a conscience. And Aspiration trusts you to pay only the fee you think we deserve, even if it's zero. So use any ATM in the world for free. Switch at aspiration.com. Save money, save the planet.
If you're going to be on the Golden State Warriors level,
If Harden hits shots.
Houston can beat Golden State. If you're as good a team as they're supposed to be, just gonna try me second choice.
If Boston plays focused.
You're putting so much dependency on this guy.
If the Greek freak is on the floor.
If they want to move forward.
This team wants to advance past the second round.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday. Raptors Sixers Game 3 on ESPN. Let's go!
Like a bad Snickers commercial. I don't know. I tell you what, when you're trying to run and you got these balloon pants, like I'm almost tripping myself.
I'm really bad at math. So like when you tell me 25, I'm like, I don't know, this looks right. I know. I can't, I like being close.
Hey, 9, back it up a little bit. He needs to back up.
No foul. No foul.
Don't throw no flags.
It fell out of my pants. I'm sorry. Sit in there, 99. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, get him up. Come on, get off him. Get off of him. Here, back up. Back up. Here we go. Here, hop up to 99.
That's it. We're all friends.
Gives you a better appreciation for what they do and what they're looking at and all that stuff, so it's good. I don't ever want to do it again, you know, I mean, for real, but...
Sure you don't want to come back to the game?
Celebrity officials today, including our friends from Sports Illustrated, Andy Staples, Dennis Dodd from CBS, and Ralph Russo from the Associated Press, along with our group of ESPN officials helping call the game. Molly McGrath threw a flag and got booed. She has arrived.
That's right. You're not an official until the fans have come after you a little bit. But you got to make your presence known. And she signaled. It was a fantastic, well-executed signal on a made field goal.
Dusty Dvorak looked right at home in the middle of the lines and in the mix.
Yeah, he's a perfect umpire, right? A former nose tackle. Stick him in there. Although I was worried that maybe he was going to try to clothesline somebody. He got a little squirrely there for a second. You could tell the juices were starting to flow.
Be great in the WWE.
There's Dennis Dodd over there, along with Todd Blackledge.
No kickoff.
Blackledge was talking about how he never wants to do this again.
This is a one-time experience. Like, you check the box, you do it, and then you never do it again. Andy Staples there, Marty Smith.
Marty Smith has not gotten run over yet today, which I view as a success.
Look how little he is. I mean, he could slide. He could probably crawl underneath the legs of one of these D linemen. I'm surprised Staples wasn't auditing the concession stands offering. It's an area of expertise for him. Look at him, yeah. He's thinking about it right now. I wonder what flavored nachos are available.
He's thinking about barbecue right now.
He is a barbecue aficionado, no doubt.
We all are, aren't we, subliminally? Thinking about the barbecue?
Always.
Juwan Mathis in the game. Listen into what Marty has going on as he works to spot the ball. Nice catch.
Like that, right?
He's run out by DJ.
He had to learn how to get the laces right for center Warren Erickson. You got a chance to spend some time with Todd Blackledge in the offseason.
I did, yeah. You know, Todd, who's been calling games in the SEC, called games that I think I played in, for crying out loud.
Not nice to call him old.
Did I say he was old? I was just speaking to his experience.
You got a Todd Blackledge impersonation?
What? Tom, I think that Jake Fromm is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Now, there's a couple of things that makes me think that. One, he's accurate. He's a game manager. I mean that in a good way.
Intercepted.
Sorry, I was distracted. I was trying to make sure that the line was appropriate. But I look at Kirby Smart's teams, and I just think that they're well coached. They have a challenging schedule every year, and I hated Georgia as a player.
You know you did. Coming from Penn State, Latavius Brini with the pads now after his pick. Well, Todd Blackledge, why did you hate?
Todd would never say that, which is why I said it, to make it clear that Todd is very much. He's I tell you what, and Greg and I were talking about this. I don't know how good of an official he is, but he's a phenomenal analyst. He's one of the best that we've got.
Little razzle-dazzle from down the sideline and incomplete. Trying to work it to Kyrus Jackson. What do you think Kirby in his voice would say about that play?
Well, you know, we're trying to stretch the field right there and get the ball outside. And, you know, Jake, he's a veteran signal caller. He knows basically what the defense is trying to do at all times. So, you know, we like what we've got in him. We just got to get a little bit more separation right here. What we got 2nd and 10. So I don't know what our play call is going to be. We got a 5-man front right now, so maybe we'll try to hold the edges at the point.
Fromm looking for an incomplete. Kirby, why do you wear a visor all the time?
Well, Tom, I don't know if you've noticed or if you've looked outside today, but it's raining. So if I have my visor, I can have a clear sight into what the defense and offense is doing. If I got water in my eyes, it's kind of hard to do. What do you want me to wear, goggles?
Well, no, but a hat would keep the rain off of your beautifully coiffed hair.
Well, I think you just answered your question right there. Your observation. I've got good-looking head of hair. Why would I cover it up with a hat?
Fine point. Third down for Jake Fromm. Fromm stands tall and just a little bit wide. We got Marty Smith wired down on the field. Marty, what's this experience been like for you?
I have learned so much. I thought I knew a thing or two about the game of football. I'm the worst ball spotter in the history of the game. I am just this side of pathetic, trying to make sure.
You're struggling right now. You got this, you're good.
See, my boys have my back, though, guys. Okay, I'm good. I can get out of the way now. I've learned so much about the game. They have to watch so much and process so much so quickly and be accurate every time. I have an entirely new respect for what referees do.
Jake Camarda trying to punch it through, and he does. Well, give us an example. What are some of the things that you have to process at the conclusion of a play?
As the center judge, I am charged with running a lot. Oh, we're going to start. Are we starting on this 30? Yeah. So, okay.
Who did you borrow your running style from, SpongeBob?
It's a good thing that I run a lot anyway. Is this the right spot? Okay. So I'm keying on the left tackle, and then from there, once I realize the left tackle is not holding, then I kind of open up my peripheral vision towards the whole backfield to make sure the quarterback isn't roughed or that type of thing.
John Sater in the
and
game.
And then once the ball is dead, I run in here. Up easy, boys. Here we go. And we spot the ball. And again, let me repeat. Man, I'm bad at that.
Hey, as you spotted, I'm just curious, are you turning the laces a certain direction?
Yes, I am. And it's funny because I'm turning the laces one direction for one center and the other direction for the other center. And it only took me 2 quarters to figure out which was which.
Well, it's kind of odd. I mean, you're not their intern. Why can't the center put the ball where he wants it?
Yeah, it's a very good point. It's not like it's an arduous physical movement.
Here's KJ McCoy with the carry.
And the hustle's impressive, Marty.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the effort. And a two-handed spot, too. To spot it with 2 hands, it means you're extra.
How am I looking, man?
Look at that.
Looking like I got athletic movement.
I'll tell you what, that back pedal, I'm going to get a little tape of that. We're going to do a little ankle flexibility at the seminar here in a few months. We're going to discuss just how impressive this is.
You're going to need some physical therapy after this action, boys.
Here's McCoy again.
Right in there. Easy, fellas, easy, fellas, easy.
I hope you don't have to break up a fight, but here's the backpedaling.
I mean, and look at the hips.
Explosiveness.
I mean, look at the hips, just a natural fluid flip.
I think the key was the hip turn. Yeah. We opened up and then was able to get right into the game.
I like when he goes like a barroom bouncer. Easy, easy, boys. Everybody calm down. Let's just simmer on down here, fellas.
You can take the man out of the mountains, but you can't take the mountain out of the man.
They're a lot bigger than me, fellas. A lot bigger.
Marty, you got a Fitbit on down there? I wonder how many steps we're going to get in.
I'm putting in some mileage.
I think you should mix it up a little bit, Marty. Maybe like nudge one of the offensive linemen into one of the defensive linemen late to see if you can spark it up a little bit in the trenches.
One funny thing is, I was taking so long to spot the ball in the first half. At halftime, the real referees were like, dude, put the ball down.
Marty, I want you to pick a fight with Dvorak.
Yeah. No,
when you spot that ball.
He's the Ed Hockley of the ESPN crew. Dude is yoked up, man. He looks like he could strap up right now and go ball. Oh.
From?
Am I supposed to blow that dead? I don't guess so.
Now you're good.
Okay.
Cedar in at quarterback and able to get the completion on the ad-lib.
No, he's right. Dvorak, when he's back there as the umpire, he puts his hands on his knees. He looks like a linebacker. It looks like he wants to crash an A-gap.
Spent some time with Dusty last night, and he was very disappointed with the weather situation that they would be in long sleeves today.
You want to show out a little gun show?
The very worst thing that has happened, fellas, is the first play of the game. There's like the first couple of plays of the game.
There we go.
There's a pick six.
Good job. Here we go.
And I have to run back to get the touchdown call. And my flag fell out of my pocket. My flag fell out of my pocket, and it was an inadvertent flag, and I've never been more embarrassed in my life.
Uh-oh. So you actually have some protection once you spot the ball. We've got Dusty mic'd up too. Dwan Mathers back in at quarterback. And Dusty's right in the thick of things, aren't you, big guy?
What's up, boys? Check this out. Action right at me. You like this, Stitch?
Hey, yeah, watch double reverse pass here, throwback, Dusty.
Going to me.
Good call. That Landers lets it go. Wide open, Dwan Mathis, and a touchdown. Molly McGrath all over it. "39 yards from Landers, back to the freshman quarterback Mathis." And Dusty Dvorak almost ruined it. He wanted so badly to blow his whistle. He was going to whistle it dead. Great discipline.
I'm dying to throw a flag. Let me ask you guys up there. Would it be bad if I just threw a flag to throw a flag? Like I'm jonesing.
No. You can call holding on every play. You can find one.
You want to do it here? You want to get holding on a
do it here.
I just don't want to make Kirby smart math. You know what I mean?
Throw it now.
He's trying to get this thing. No, I can't. It's good, though.
Somebody did.
The back judge threw
I
it
got
anyway.
8 more minutes of refereeing in my life. My umpire days are numbered. There will be yellow hanky on the ground before this 8 minutes is up, I promise.
Delay of game on the offense. That penalty is declined. The point is good.
Sean McDonough not afraid to insert himself into the broadcast. He gets flagged down. And with 8:02, how about the razzle-dazzle?
Well, you called it, G-Mac. Earlier it was Maria Taylor, and now McElroy calling plays from the booth on the double reverse throwback to Dwan Mathis.
Great for Molly McGrath.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call the experts at creditrepair.com for your free credit evaluation and game plan to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
At creditrepair.com, dreams do happen.
Thanks to creditrepair.com, I will be able to have a better credit score and get that house.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation and game plan to help get back on the track to great credit.
Call 800-969-5670.
SEC baseball at its best with a classic showdown in College Station.
There is a new SEC hit king, Jake Mangum.
Aggie pitchers will defend their turf.
Called strike 3 on the outside corner.
7th-ranked Mississippi State, 17th-ranked Texas A&M. Thursday at 7 on the SEC Network.
If you're going to be on the Golden State Warriors level,
If Harden hits shots,
Houston can beat Golden State. If you're as good a team as they're supposed to be,
just gonna try, be second of choice. If Boston plays focused,
You're putting so much dependency on this guy.
if the Greek freak is on the floor,
If they want to move forward.
This team wants to advance past the second round.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday. Raptors-Sixers, Game 3 on ESPN.
Your paycheck. Your family depends on it. But if something happened to you, you need life insurance. And chances are SelectQuote can get it for you for under $1 a day.
SelectQuote found Alec, 38, a $500,000 policy for under $23 a month. SelectQuote found Kenesha, 37, a $750,000 policy for under $23 a month.
SelectQuote's secret? They impartially shop a select group of highly rated companies like these for your best rates. Give your family the security it needs at a price you can afford.
Since 1985, SelectQuote has saved over 1 million families millions of dollars on life insurance. Call now, 800-711-3789, or go to SelectQuote.com. Discover what over 1 million families know. We shop, you save.
We've got a dead serious game of football going on here in Athens. Black leading red 17-13 in the 15th and most important practice of the spring for Kirby's Smart Squad. And we've got Maria Taylor braving the elements. She's on the field with Georgia's head coach. Maria, take it away.
I do. All right, Coach. We got you going again.
Ooh, had a big lick right there. Got me a little worried about Richard.
I know. He did. He got it pretty fast.
Came in and squared him up in the B gap. Watch this replay right here.
Okay, I'm ready.
You talking about getting downhill. Here he comes. Bam! He likes to get in the hit.
That's what he wants to do.
Absolutely, he likes it.
Walk me through what we're looking for now, because it's second half now.
All right, we're trying to get some more reps here and get some guys in the game. We always take the second half and give the second drive to some other guys. Now we're getting ready to get our starters back there. Most of the starters are in on defense and on offense. Good job, Peyton Mercer. Ooh.
Oh, I didn't get to hear from you on the trick play.
Oh, how awesome was that? So how about, I told the coaches each team gets, one trick play. I didn't realize that we didn't really have time after practice to organize the trick play. So supposedly they drew it up in the locker room before the plays. And both teams ran one. Obviously, they had a little more success with theirs. DeJuan's a really good athlete. The 10-700-meter guy can run. So good job. Got F drive steep here. We got some tough matchups out here. We got young walk-on kid on some starting corners. So we'll see if we can win one of these steep routes. Tough right there. Ooh, tough.
All right, we're running a replay of the trick play. So talk me through it again. What exactly you saw on it, okay?
I didn't hear that. What?
We're walking through the trick play again. We're going to run a replay. Okay, so just walk me through what you saw when it was developing. Go ahead.
Trick play?
Yep.
Well, I actually didn't know it was called. I didn't have the call, so I saw Matt coming around. I thought it was going to be a reverse. And then when I knew Matt was a good thrower.
First of all, I was going to say, did you know that Matt could do that?
No, I had no idea Matt could do that, but I knew DeJuan could. DeJuan can run. He's always bragging about his. Tyson! Get out there, knucklehead. But Matt can, DeJuan can run. He made a heck of a play right here. Let's see if this young punter can give us another big boot right here. Uh-oh, hit a line drive. That's a lot of wind up there. Drive there, Urban. Look it up, Urban. Good.
All right.
Back here. Who's up in this game right now? We are black, 17, good. We're going to start him out. We got to give me a yard line.
How's the officiating been?
Steve, 25, please. 25. What's that cord?
So you got to tell me, Coach, how the officiating's been, because I've seen Marty running in and out trying to spot the ball, and I don't know what's going on.
Marty is a nervous wreck. If they did a heart monitor on Marty, right? Look at him. He is scared to death. He said this is way harder than I.
Well, you yelled at him one time. I saw him.
I yelled at him. He dropped the flag on a return touchdown, interception return touchdown. He said it slipped out of his pocket. I think Marty's finding out this is really real.
He thought he knew football. He thought he did.
We got free release right here. Quick game. Quarterback looking for the first open target. Good job. DeJuan's got a nice release. Kid throws the ball well.
Can you tell me a little something about Mathis right now, since we're seeing him?
Yeah, DeJuan is a talented kid. We picked up late. He's really done a good job picking up the offense. I think Coach Coley's done a tremendous job with him. He brings another element because he's got really good legs, really good feet. You saw the reverse pass, obviously, for a touchdown. So seeing him catch that tells us he can run a little bit. So we may have to try the guy and mix him in there at wideout some.
And we're seeing a lot of Cook, too, which has been fun.
Yes, Cook's a very talented kid. He's done a good job. Oh, 5-man pressure. This could be, good run. Tough run right there. 3 yards on 2nd and 3. It's good, grind it out. Getting to see a lot of our young linemen play in this group. Warren McClendon, young kid in there. Clay Webb's a young kid in there. So these guys get to play some big-time reps.
So one thing we see with Coach Pittman is the development of the O-line room. And, you could almost see the size change over the last 3 or 4 years since you've been here, Coach. What has changed about it?
Number one, size. I think we've gone bigger in that group, and the depth. We're having a hard time. Most people have struggled to get 2 O-lines out there. We're having a hard time getting them all playing time. We want all these kids to be able to play, and they get a lot of reps in practice, but this game they don't get as many. We just blitzed him. They didn't blow it up. He's fast. You better watch out. There we go.
He is fast.
Go. I don't know. That might have been a sack, Maria. Defensive guy says that was a sack.
That was
You're
clean.
a defensive guy, so you're going to go with the sack. Coach is going with the sack on that one.
Look at him.
That was clean.
They're all going to see. Look at him. They're all looking at me like Coach Smart.
You got to tell him.
Yeah.
I got to get with Steve and make sure he knows the team that's ahead gets the worst call.
Well, he's right there. I mean, you can let him know now.
Yeah, the black team's ahead. So he gets close to a sack.
You want a sack? But you're a defensive guy, Coach.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, free release. Here we go. Get the ball to Cook. Oh, goodness. Stay on my quarterback there. Good. Stay up, Channing. Stay up. Stay up.
So when you're getting a lot of extra looks for the young guys and guys that don't always get first-team reps, I mean, what do you have to see in a spring game?
Well, you want to see how they respond to the crowd, the communication. I mean, a lot of these guys out here played a lot for us last year. Brenton Cox, Cade Mays, James Cook played a good bit. Matt Landers getting to play some. But you want to see how they react to the pressure being out here, the communication, the signals. How do they prepare? Because the very next game we're in is the dang SEC battle.
I know. You know, you talked about Matt Landers a little bit when we had our meeting and how he's had a great spring. So walk us through what you meant by that.
Well, let's see what he does here. He got a chop route one-on-one. Okay. Ooh, he got a chance. Good route. Look at Marine. Marine picked it up. Oh, good. Great. So what we've seen out of Matt is he needs to be more consistent, but he's a talented guy. He's got vertical speed. He's got great leaping ability, good ball skills. He just got to be more consistent. We've finally gotten him to buy into playing on special teams and helping out. If he can do those things and still play with kind of a little bit of a swagger, it helps him.
Yeah, and throw the ball every now and then. I mean, yeah, just whenever that works out.
Something I didn't know about.
Okay, what we got here, Coach?
I don't know what we got here. Oh, good. We're going to run a base run right here. Uh-oh, we got a wrong formation. There he goes. He put him back. That's a good job by the quarterback fixing that. Shot clock getting down on him. We got a run here. We got an illegal formation. See if the officials call it. This is a great test. Oh, they got it. They got it right. We didn't have enough on the line.
Oh,
How about that? You knew
Who got it?
I bet somebody had to tell him. See if Todd got it on his line. Todd! Todd! He got it right. That's awesome. Back him up, Steve.
So we got one for the officials down here, guys. Mark that down. They got one call right. One time.
Hey, Johnny!
Illegal formation. 5 players in the backfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
You didn't get it on your own?
Come on, Todd.
Did you get it on your own, or did you need a little help?
I need a little help.
I got so many things on a quarterback.
I'm looking at so many things, though.
You're counting them guys as quarterback knowing something special.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
That's a hard, Todd?
Oh, it's really hard.
Really hard.
Okay. You called it, though, Coach. You called it. What do we got here?
We're going to go back again with it now. We're going to go back again with it. Hard run. Gum. Oh, he's got it. He's got it. He's got it. Good job there on the side. Perimeter blocking. It's not real good there. Tell you what, it's a good group. It's a talented group out here. I'm enjoying watching them play.
You know who we haven't talked about? Well, okay, defense. Let's talk about defense. And what you've seen from a defensive line standpoint. I know depth is something that you're looking to build there, but what you've seen through the spring.
Well, this practice alone, I've seen a lot of guys swarming around, flying around, making some plays. We've got some young guys in the secondary we're excited about. I mean, this whole red group, most of them are new to us or new. They didn't play much last year. There's some guys that can play in this group I'm excited about. Free release, quick game, Mathis. Oh, gotta go. No, we'll do that. Not interested in that. He's starting to flip it. Got a big third down here. So, but the defensive guys, we've tried to create more havoc this spring. I think our coaching staff.
Oh, yeah, break down havoc again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot now because you always put the kids on the spot every time you get up and tell me what havoc is.
That's right, they can do it. The percentage of plays that we cause sacks, PBUs, interceptions, and forced fumbles. So we want to create more havoc. We're not doing as much today because we don't want to put everything out there on tape, but we're doing anything we've done last year. So our kids really enjoy rushing the passer and causing havoc. So we've done a lot more of that, and our offense sees a lot of that. So it helps them to see that stuff. Got a big third down here. Third and long, too. Got to get rid of it. Good step up. Good throw. Flag. Please don't throw it. Please. Oh, he didn't throw it.
Down here.
What do we got?
Staples.
Hey, Scott, can he kick a field goal? Yeah, let's decline it. Kick a field goal. Field goal. I don't care.
Yeah, I think it was Andy Staples that threw the flag. He just finished his bag of pork rinds just in time to throw that flag out there.
Throw the flag on pass interference. He'll also get you for a bad
There's no
brisket.
foul for pass interference on the play. It'll be fourth down.
So who threw the flag?
Andy Staples did. This will be a 48-yard attempt.
Yep. Got a young field goal kicker here. We're giving him an opportunity. He's got a good leg, but we'll see if he can handle this distance. This might be out of his range here. Didn't get it in there. Well, we get the other group to come out. So.
Oh, one question, Coach. We haven't seen Demetrius out here at all.
Demetrius got sick last night and had some virus and stuff like that. So we've got him with the medical staff, and he's unable to play. And I hate that because the kid's had such a good spring. He's been so competitive.
All right, well, Coach, thanks for your time again. I didn't call it out this time, but at least, you know, you almost got a field goal.
That's right. Got to stop. A stop and a miss.
All right, we got more coming from Athens here in Sanford Stadium when we come back for the G-Day game.
Geico makes it easy to get help when you need it. With licensed agents available 24/7. It's not just easy. It's having a walrus and goal easy.
It's a walrus! Ridiculous! Yes! Nice save, big guy!
Good job, Duncan! Way to go!
It's not just easy, it's Geico easy.
Duncan, stay up. No sleepies.
Oh, sir, that was my grandma's. Ugh.
Don't worry, ma'am. All of your stuff is in okay hands.
Just okay?
Well, they don't give 2.5 stars to just anybody.
Here you go.
What's this?
It's your piano.
Hold this for a sec.
We don't have a piano.
But the neighbors do.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5G Evolution, the first step to 5G. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Planning for retirement? Quick. What's your most valuable asset? No, not these. It's time. Because time gives you more opportunity for growth. So don't waste another minute. Go to personalcapital.com now for a retirement planner that takes the guesswork out of retirement. A dashboard that shows you all your accounts in one place, even your net worth, all in real time. You'll get all these free retirement and investing tools, plus wealth management options. Join at personalcapital.com.
Thank you so much.
New purple, eh, Deb?
He's always wanted to try one. Well, they have a 100-night trial, so...
Everyone wants to sleep better, and can. Purple makes it easy with free shipping and our 100-night trial. For a limited time, get a free Purple pillow with mattress purchase at purple.com/TV.
If you're going to be on the Golden State Warriors level,
If Harden hits shots,
Houston can beat Golden State. If you're as good a team as they're supposed to be,
just gonna try, be second of choice. If Boston plays focused,
You're putting so much dependency on this guy.
let's go, get kids running through the if the Greek freak is on the floor.
If they want to move forward.
If this team wants to advance past the second round.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday. Raptors Sixers Game 3 on ESPN.
Let's go.
You're the first guy to get one right on your own. And you were like...
Well, I just didn't know with the philosophy of the game you wanted to let it go.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I was telling Steve to let it go, and then he started hollering at you, but it was too late.
Yeah.
You actually made the call on your own, which is pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Nobody was holding your hand.
No.
The rest of these guys, it's hard, man.
I have so much respect for what these guys do.
Dave's got it bad. It's Marty.
Yeah, Marty's...
He's up there spotting the ball every play.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have that job.
The great Sean McDonough is wearing, yes, Sean.
Do you guys get paid for this quarter? I mean, Kirby did all the work. Crying out loud. That is a bunch of nonsense.
We keep waiting for you to take over the play-by-play duties.
By the way, like he says, they're going to throw it deep, but I know to back up a little bit. We got 11.
Good counting, by the way.
Syracuse, baby. Ooh, wow. Nope.
Stetson Bennett in at quarterback. We got a flag down. Tyreek McGee almost picked it. Here are guest officials today, including Andy Staples, Sports Illustrated, Dennis Dodd from CBS, and Ralph Russo from the Associated Press.
Holding, number
They didn't get
55
mics.
on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Be first down.
I think that was Marty's flag.
I think it was too.
Yep. So he's obviously on his key.
Oh, my bad, brother.
I think
Now
Dusty
he's apologizing for throwing the flag.
Dusty must have some serious FOMO here. He's the only guy who hasn't thrown a flag.
Well, he did throw it during a commercial break just
That's
to
true.
get loose. He's too busy eating that whistle. He can't wait to blow that sucker.
Last quarter, there's a pass that went right by Dusty's ear. I mean, he is in the mix.
Hey, get out of there. Come on, man. Don't be diving on the pot like that. Come on, two. Come on, man. These damn teammates. Come on.
Oh, I got to tell you, the hypocrisy of a D lineman. Don't be jumping on the pile.
Don't be hitting it late.
Don't be patting those assist stats.
I had to throw it. It wasn't a home, but I had to throw it. I had to get a taste. That was fun.
Who'd you stick with it?
No, the center. I told my nose, I said, hey, give me a hard rush. I'm going to get you a flag on this one. So he rushed hard, and I gave it to him.
Oh, wow.
So it was Dusty Dvorak after all. Here's what we'll be doing post-game, getting ready for Easter weekend. Some people paint the eggs, others paint bellies. Fun one today here in the Classic City, and we move on to the final quarter.
How do you gauge the greatness of an SUV? Is it to carry cargo or to carry on a legacy? Its show of strength or its sign of intelligence? In crossing harsh terrain or breaking new ground? And to do these things once or 7 times over? This is the Mercedes-Benz SUV family, starting at $33,950. Greatness comes in many forms. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
You work hard to build a better life and a better world. Now you can do both by ditching your big bank and switching to the Aspiration Spend and Save account. You'll get cash back on every dollar you spend and extra rewards for shopping at businesses with a conscience. And Aspiration trusts you to pay only the fee you think we deserve, even if it's zero. So use any ATM in the world for free. Switch at aspiration.com. Save money, save the planet.
SEC baseball at its best with a classic showdown in College Station.
There is a new SEC hit king, Jake Mangum.
Aggie pitchers will defend their turf.
Called strike 3 on the outside corner.
7th-ranked Mississippi State, 17th-ranked Texas A&M. Thursday at 7 on the SEC Network.
If you're going to be on the Golden State Warriors level,
If Harden hits shots,
Houston can beat Golden State. If you're as good a team as they're supposed to be, just gonna try, be second choice.
if Boston plays focused,
You're putting so much dependency on this guy.
if the Greek freak is on the floor,
If they want to move forward.
This team wants to advance past the second round.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday. Raptors Sixers Game 3 on ESPN.
Everyone knows the General for his affordable auto insurance.
And everyone knows Shaq as a basketball Hall of Famer.
But I bet you didn't know we're competitive hedge trimmers. Perfection.
Impressive. Check out mine.
You've also mastered the art of meditation.
Or a great low rate.
So those weren't your strong suits. But at least you're great at providing coverage to people who've let their insurance lapse.
For a great low rate you can get online, go to the General and save some time.
Baseball's coming at you in a big way.
That's huge.
With MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV. Catch up to 90 out-of-market games a week, no matter where you live. That's every team, every player, every larger-than-life moment. Even watch up to 8 games at once on one channel. And with MLB.TV included, stream the season's biggest plays on any screen for the most big league action anywhere. Order MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV.
G-Day game from Athens, and it's a 17-13 lead for black team. And now many of the starters back on the field for the red squad as we start the 4th quarter of action. And Stetson Bennett is able to complete the pass. By the way, kudos to our dear friend Matt Stinchcomb, inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Honored at the Auburn game on November 10th. Nice to see that they got a jacket that fits you.
Appropriate.
Look at that face.
Size jacket.
What a great face. Y'all don't know how heavy that picture really was.
I want to know who
just looking at the face in the middle, I can imagine how heavy it was.
That's what I'm saying. I was wearing a flesh-toned neck pillow.
Bennett with the completion to midfield. That's Charlie Warner, the tight end, and he carries defenders for another 5.
We are proud of you.
Thanks, pal. For losing weight or what?
Well, I think that's quite the accomplishment.
We know you live for our validation. Look back at Matt's resume as a player. First round pick of the Raiders.
You know what takes the luster off of is when I had to propose this in the production meeting that we talk about.
I thought it was awkward that you kept pushing our producer Tom Schofield to get it into the game today. How was the dinner at the College Football Hall of Fame ceremony?
It was very filling. It was great. It was a great ceremony, and you get to be in a room full of guys that you grew up watching, and guys that were probably among some of the best players that ever got to play the game, and you never thought that you'd probably share a room with them. So it was a blast, and the steak was phenomenal, as was the catch.
Jeremiah Holloman takes it in from 43 yards, and once again, Bennett showing off his arm as he plays with the red team now.
Tell you what, man, this guy just makes plays. I mean, he just makes throws. He gives his receivers a chance. They go up and make a play for him. He just throws a catchable ball. I mean, I've been pretty impressed with Stetson Bennett. Obviously, the high praise from some of his teammates. Kind of expected him to play well today, but he has certainly looked the part trying to lock down that backup quarterback job.
He was a scout team quarterback as Baker Mayfield in preparation for the Rose Bowl a couple of years ago. And the point after was blocked. Holloman with a 43-yard catch for the score. So we mentioned Kirby told Maria that Demetrius Robertson felt ill last night, so he's not available, but they return a trio of great receivers, and Robertson, Holloman, and Simmons. And then, as we mentioned, welcoming Matt Landers into the mix, who doesn't have a career catch yet. They lost 60% of their catches and 68% of their receiving touchdowns. Trying to replace a very talented core. Juan Matheson, quarterback for the black team. And Mathis stops and lets it go. Nearly picked by Otis Reese.
As far as that receiver core is concerned, if they're looking a little out of sync today, that's fine. I mean, really the best time to develop chemistry with your core is in the summer, when you're not limited with time and you're not really weighed down by a lot going on. You have time to work your craft, and that's when that chemistry really starts to take shape. So Jake Fromm hasn't looked his best today. I think Stetson Bennett has played extremely well, but Jake Fromm hasn't looked his best, but I wouldn't be concerned because these guys 4 months from now will have such more chemistry as a result of the reps they're about to get over the course of the summer.
How important from a leadership perspective is having a veteran like Jake Fromm to lead those practices and to know how to work on what you need to work on.
Yeah, he knows what it's supposed to look like, so it's huge to have a veteran guy. For instance, if a route's supposed to be at 10 yards, if a guy runs it at 9, Jake Fromm will be able to have the experience to tell him, you better get the 10. And it's hard to do that if you haven't played. It really is. You really can't lead until you play and play well. And Jake Fromm, of course, has done a great job these last couple of years. So these receivers will be ready to go, no doubt, come fall camp.
Mathis, the Detroit product, gets flushed by Malik Herring, who came in from the edge.
And when you think with the transition at the play caller spot, James Coley's not going to do it on his own, much like he was contributing to the play calling a year ago or a season ago when Coach Chaney was the offensive coordinator. That said, there's a chance with a third-year quarterback now, and Jake Fromm, when statistically speaking, that's usually where you see the biggest leap. Fromm's already commented throughout this spring. He's like, I don't know if it's just me, but this is starting to feel easy. Yeah. It's coming a lot quicker. It's a lot easier. The game has slowed down. Now the question will be, as we've been hammering, who's going to be on the other end of these catches?
Right.
And Landers repeatedly has been targeted on downfield throws. They want to see that. James Coley said, really, the only question mark he has as it pertains to Jake Fromm is the touch on his downfield passes.
Yeah.
That he kind of tries to muscle them sometimes. He's such a great, he does a great job of anticipating throws. If he could do that better on the downfield balls, that was really the only area that he mentioned when we pressed him on where is it that Fromm can take strides.
Right. I think the biggest thing, too, when you've played as much football as Jake Fromm has, you have to kind of battle against going through the motions. Like, you have to attack the day every day with the same level of intensity that you did as a true freshman when you were trying to prove yourself. And that's not always easy. I mean, you can talk to guys that have played 20 years in the NFL that still have a hard time kind of getting up every day for practice and studying the tape because it gets redundant. Jake Fromm is a fierce competitor, and he'll be up to play Alabama and Auburn, but you can't have those games where you don't have your best stuff, because that's how games like the LSU game happen. So Jake Fromm, I think, will definitely probably work against that this year, knowing what he experienced in the LSU game a year ago.
He's thrown for over 5,300 yards in his career. He won the quarterback job, and he's seen 2 other guys transfer out. Tied for second in Georgia history with 23 career wins, but the win that they're missing is a national championship.
And narrowly missed those. You know, 2 different opportunities when you think about it. You led Alabama, what, 2 different times by 13 points in the national championship game. You lead them 2 different times by 14 points in the SEC championship. You got to find a way to get over that hump. It's a pretty sizable hump that's over there in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I think you speak for everybody, though, in thinking that, yeah, it's year 4 for Kirby Smart. The best is yet to come for the Bulldogs.
Is this ride safe?
Assembled it myself last night. I think I did an okay job.
Just okay?
What if something bad happens?
We just moved in the next town.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5G Evolution, the first step to 5G. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Man, I wish we had some.
Dr. Pepper! And rich, delicious Dr. Pepper.
Cool robot.
Thanks, but actually he's a cooler from the future.
Wow.
Don't touch. He's very cold. Dr. Pepper, so nice to treat you.
Let's be honest. Safe drivers shouldn't have to pay as much for insurance.
And not safe drivers!
That's why Esurance has Drive Sense. The safer you drive, the more you save. Although I'm not really driving right now. That would be unsafe. When insurance is affordable, it's surprisingly painless.
Support your favorite college at Fanatics.com. The largest assortment of officially licensed fan gear from more than 500 colleges. Every conference, every team. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
At Credible.com, we've helped tens of thousands of people save money by refinancing their student loans. In 3 minutes, we'll get you actual rates from multiple lenders. We could save you hundreds of dollars a month.
Visit Credible.com to see how much you could save.
I got things I want to do, but student loans were holding me back. Credible.com helped me save $600 a month with a great rate. Now I can go do what I want to do.
Visit Credible.com to see how much you could save on your student loans.
Looking for vacation rentals? Search Home to Go Florida from $49. Home to Go Texas from $45. Home to Go New York from $59. Home to Go, the world's largest vacation rental search engine.
Home to go. If you're going to be on the Golden State Warriors level,
If Harden hits shots, Houston can beat Golden State. If you're as good a team as they're supposed to be, just gonna try me second choice.
If Boston plays focused,
you're putting so much dependency on this guy.
If the Greek freak is on the floor,
If they want to move forward,
This team wants to advance past the second round.
The NBA playoffs continue Thursday. Raptors-Sixers Game 3 on ESPN.
Biggest names in the draft for 3 nights only. Dropping the greatest hits live from Nashville. The NFL Draft begins Thursday on ESPN and ABC.
NFL Draft is going to be fantastic in Music City this season. ESPN and ABC will have the coverage, and according to our ESPN ranks, here are the top players coming out of the SEC, including Georgia's DeAndre Baker at number 21. This isn't a mock draft. This is the rankings. Greg McElroy, you've been saying that if it were your mock draft, you'd have Quinnen Williams go number 1.
I think he's the best player in the draft.
Dynamite drop in. Here's Stetson Bennett to let it go. What a catch.
Wow. Great throw.
Perfectly placed for Brian Harrion.
Yeah, I think Quinnen Williams, back to what we were talking about, is the best player in the draft. He's so slippery on the inside, and interior pass rusher is so difficult to defend against. Kyler Murray still comes with question marks as far as the way his game translates. But I'll tell you what, if Kyler Murray can make throws like Stetson Bennett's been making today, he'll have a heck of a long career, and I think we're all anxious to see how that transition takes place for the Oklahoma quarterback.
Let me get your opinion on the quarterback position outside of Kyler Murray going 1-1 as he may. Would he be your first quarterback taken?
He would not. I would take Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins would be my #1 quarterback, but it would come with a caveat. I got to redshirt him.
Yeah.
I need him to sit and learn and take the Pat Mahomes approach to becoming a professional. I mean, he hasn't played a whole lot. Only 1 season as a starter at Ohio State. But I think his ceiling, I know he's not overly athletic, but he's extremely accurate, and he has that alpha dog mentality that you want for your franchise quarterback. So he'd be my #1 guy, even though I think he's slipping in the eyes of some. I'm not sure why, though.
I don't get
if you watch
that.
the tape, he's terrific.
Yeah, I don't get that, right? What is it that they're seeing? What could have possibly happened at this point?
Quarterback-friendly system. I mean, they just think, you know, they fall out of love with you for the most ridiculous reasons as you're making that transition sometimes. So sometimes I think you get so heavily scrutinized throughout that draft process that just, I don't know, sometimes it just doesn't make sense to me.
I think sometimes you get that short sell mentality too, these teams, where they'll start talking down a player to see if they can't depress his value and see if they can't grab him later on in the round.
100%.
Coverage all week on ESPN starting Thursday on ESPN and ABC, the NFL draft from Nashville. Missouri's Drew Lock, who set the SEC touchdown record a couple years ago in a single season, looks to be coming off the board early. Seems like John Elway and the Broncos have appreciated what Drew Lock can bring to the table. That punt goes into the end zone. So it should be fascinating to watch regardless, but especially from the quarterback position.
Yeah, draft is always exciting, and of course I know fans of this conference anxious to see where Drew Lock ends up. Former Missouri quarterback, likely to be picked probably in the early teens. Some people projecting around 10 potentially to Denver. So I'm not sure if that's the place. I'm not sure that's the place that I would take him, but in that vicinity, 10 to 20 is probably where he's going to hear his name called.
The knock on him was always, where does he go in those big games?
Right.
Versus the LSUs, versus the Floridas with the great defensive backfields. Is he just kind of a box score bully where he just gangs up on overmatched opponents? Clearly he's got a skill set.
Just make up that term, or you read it somewhere?
Box score bully?
Yeah.
That's my term.
I'm a fan of it.
It's a term that I use from time to time. It's in my
part
lexicon.
of your ethos.
It is a part of my ethos. I got it from Brock Heward. Box score bully.
Georgia fans wondering what the box score looked like after the season opener. They opened the conference game on the road. Same spot as the NFL draft in the Music City against Vandy on August 31st.
Like
and then Notre Dame, 4th week of the season.
Yeah, I like the way their schedule sets up. You come out of the gate, you have 2 bye weeks. And you kind of are able to take what is a difficult schedule and you get to kind of break it up. So you have 4 games, excuse me, take a break. Get ready to go on the road to Tennessee in a hostile environment. Then you play a few more games. Then you take a break. And you go to Florida and have to play against the Gators in Jacksonville. So I like the way their schedule sets up. And, of course, that game against Texas A&M there in the second to last week of the season, the one that I'm probably paying closest attention to. These 2 teams have never played since Texas A&M's been in the league.
Isn't that amazing? You think about it, since joining in 12. And boy, Mathis just unleashed a beautiful pass to Landers, but it was blown dead.
You guys both would have Georgia winning the East.
I
so
would,
who
yeah.
would be the stiffest competition? Who could possibly get in the way in the East?
It's got to be Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, just with what Dan Mullen did last year, really transforming Felipe Franks before our very eyes, played well down the stretch. And if he continues to improve the way Dan Mullen's quarterbacks have always kind of improved, then he has a chance to have a really nice season. But I don't think anyone's really within striking distance of Georgia in the East at this point. Florida's still a year or 2 away. They lost some really good pieces on the defensive side that'll be difficult to replace. I think Florida's going to be a good team, but probably not as good as they were a year ago.
I think Florida's good enough that if Georgia plays poorly, they beat them. I don't see a team in the East right now that if Georgia plays well is good enough to beat them straight up. And how many teams in the East right now are capable of taking advantage of an off afternoon from this program? There's not many. Maybe a South Carolina. When you look at it, maybe a Missouri with Kelly Bryant at quarterback. Those are the teams that you give them. You hate the term puncher's chance,
right?
But you have to look at that quarterback position and think who's capable of doing it. Vanderbilt transitioning at quarterback. Tennessee does not have the horses yet in my eyes. South Carolina's got the most veteran quarterback in the East by far.
I think the toughest game on the schedule is still at Auburn. And that's the toughest game on the schedule. Now, Auburn, not a lot of people talking about Auburn. They should be, because they're going to be good in the trenches. If they could figure out the quarterback position, Auburn's got a chance with that home field advantage in November to really make life difficult for Georgia. So that's probably the toughest game on the schedule. But of course, Auburn being a West counterpart, they won't be in the running to win the East naturally.
I thought you were fast forwarding to the future, because it does seem like a matter of time before that might happen. And really, when you look at the schedule, I thought maybe A&M, just from a top-down competitive standpoint, it's the two West Division teams I think that are the most proximate to where Georgia is talent-wise.
A&M's going to be really young. So at that point of the season, November 23rd, you just play a really physical game against Auburn. You got to be careful. You have triple option the following week. That's just a dangerous spot on the schedule to play a really capable opponent.
Nice catch by Tyler Simmons from Stetson Bennett, who's having a fantastic day. By the way, our celebrity officials are now going through the evaluation process upstairs.
This is your holding call.
On the kickoff? 45?
Play 45 on the kickoff.
On the kickoff?
Wonder how they're going to grade out. I give us an A+.
Naturally.
I think actually McDonough and Blackledge are going to come down here and evaluate us, how we did in the booth.
Slow down.
I like it.
They've been doing it a long time.
Yeah, now this play's over, right?
It's up here. It's out of the screen. Yeah, go to D.
This play's over.
This process is taking them through the replay review and how that works in the booth.
These two guys here, this guy's running the ball, this play's over, and 25 yards away you got a foul. And let me ask you this. Does this
I didn't hear a whistle.
Does this have an effect on this right here?
1:15 to go in this fourth quarter. Garrett Jones couldn't squeeze it.
His pass is incomplete. It's in for Garrett Jones.
All right, so 69 seconds left in this one. Obviously, Stetson Bennett has shown through today. And we saw some of the raw ability of Matt Landers. Who else stood out to you?
I thought the defense, for the most part, I wouldn't say one particular individual. When the starters on defense were working against the starters on offense, they did what they've really focused on. They've created some havoc. They broke up a lot of passes. They made a play on the ball early in the game with Stokes' interception to the house. I mean, I was really impressed with them taking what the coaches have emphasized over the last 15 practices and applying it before our very eyes here at the spring game.
Richard LeCount coming on the safety blitz that time. It bears repeating that there will be new wrinkles offensively. There will be new pressures defensively. We didn't see a whole lot of them. And sometimes when you've been practicing against each other already for 14 days, you know what the other side's doing.
Right, and let's look at the decisions that were made from a coordinator spot. There's going to be an embellishment, maybe an elaboration of what they've previously done. That's what Kirby Smart coveted with that coordinator decision, is can we build on, tweak, maybe emphasize another elements of what we already do. This isn't going to be an overhaul of anything. James Coley already has his fingerprints all over the offense via the contributions on third downs last year. And I think that we're not going to see any distinct departures from the way Georgia has played before on either side of the ball.
Yeah, they're going to be the same group as they were a year ago. I mean, I'm not worried about receivers departing. Riley Ridley, tough to replace. Mecole's a solid slot receiver that can create with the ball in his hands. But I don't feel like either one of those two spots are impossible to replace. Offensive line, going to be better probably than they were a year ago as some of those young guys continue to grow and and they figure out who's going to lock down that right guard spot. Running back's going to be as good as they were a year ago. Look, I'm really excited about this group as Tom continues to try to step in.
For the Podlesny family of St. Simon's Island, I just wanted to point out that was the freshman, Jake Podlesny, who made the field goal.
I like it. Well done.
Dwan Matheson. I'm told to ask you for your final thoughts.
It's a great field goal.
How about the game at large?
No, I thought the officials did great. I think Greg did a pretty good post-mortem there on the entire roster and the way it looks.
Wondering if maybe he was getting paid by the word.
Filling it up.
He did a great
Got to
job.
step in when I get a chance.
That's right.
I am excited about this team, though. Obviously, I think everybody in college football will continue to point to the same two teams when it comes to the national championship, Alabama and Clemson. They're probably always going to start the conversation with those two teams, and rightfully so, given how they've been the last few years. But I tell you what, that gap between those two and Georgia, if it exists at all, is razor thin. And Georgia's really, really close. It could be their year. It really could be. If all the pieces fall into place that we think are going to, it could be their year.
It may be semantics, but I heard the same message last week in Tuscaloosa from the Alabama staff and their players, including Tua Tagovailoa, that lack of attention to detail throughout the season caused them to not be prepared for their biggest game, whether that's blowing leads for the Georgia perspective or just getting over that hump. So that's where the summer comes in and refining them.
I thought you meant that Alabama thought this might be their year, because they're due. But when you look at Georgia, I think you're right. Georgia was a year early last season.
Yeah.
That was a young football team. And we talk about the departures, the secondary, and as you pointed out, Greg, I think they're even stronger in the defensive backfield. I think they will be from sideline to sideline. Do they have a DeAndre Baker on the roster? Probably not. And at the same time, they could still be better as a unit. This team should be better than it was a season ago.
Yeah, they're going to be deeper up front on defense, too, so they'll be able to maybe specialize a little more. Use some utility players in special situations. Maybe Nolan Smith's one of those guys. I just think that what we're seeing today is nowhere near what we're going to see when they tee it up against Vanderbilt in week number 1, because they're going to have some guys come in. They're going to have some competitions that sort themselves out. It's a very, very good time to be a Bulldog fan, and I think all of us would be shocked if, in fact, they're not in the mix for a national championship or a playoff berth.
Only a couple cracks at it left for the black team, trailing by 5 with 27 seconds left. Matt Landers, number 5, to the top of the formation. Dwan Mathis swings it out, and they're able to stop the clock with KJ McCoy getting out of bounds with 21 ticks left. So Dwan Mathis now has him near midfield, and the black team has 2 timeouts left.
There's actually something on the line here, because if the black team can somehow figure out a way to score a touchdown in what appears to be a potential Hail Mary situation here, then they'll be having steaks for dinner on Monday, as opposed to the beanie weenies that might be on their plate as of right now.
Into the running back KJ McCoy again. Clock stops at 13 seconds left. Willie Erdman with the grab and out of bounds. 5 seconds remain. All right, what did he dial up here?
It looked like Erdman almost checked. I thought he was going to run like a hook and lateral or something. You see him check infield before he spun out towards the boundary, which you would think in a 2-minute drill situation that he would break for the sideline immediately.
So they're going to put trips to the right, including Matt Landers.
Yep, Hail Mary to the right. You got 2 big, tall targets on the right side. Throw it up, see if they can make a play for you.
See if Dwan Mathis has time. He'll buy some with his scramble. Game will end on this play. Into the end zone. It is knocked down. Batted away by DJ Daniel. And it turns into a 5-point victory for the Red. Stakes coming for the first-team offense.
Mathis gave his guy a shot. You know, Landers had a shot at this thing. And another one of those balls. I think that's 3, and this one almost could have come down with it, but Daniels clearly averse to the beanie weenie meal.
It's a great
Coming
play.
up next, SEC baseball, Texas A&M taking on South Carolina. Fantastic fun afternoon here in Athens, Georgia. Thanks for putting up with us. The final score, red 22, black 17, as Georgia aims for its first national title since 1980. They have the summer to prepare for an opening date with Vandy. For Maria Taylor, Matt Stinchcomb, Greg McElroy, and seemingly a cast of thousands, I'm Tom Hart. Good afternoon from Athens. Now, A&M, South Carolina.